video's not working, but the audio is.
Well, we'll do it.
Okay. What time is it?
It's right on time. I think it's probably unwise. We'll just move it. Oh, good. Can you like? I'm just gonna take a picture of this. Because I realized, did I ever get Caitlin? Yeah. Is she on it? Yeah. What does she do?
She's the steering committee.
Okay. I forgot her on my list. You're telling me. Is this Saturday Night Fever? Jungle Boogie? Thank you, Mike Rush. We'll be doing karaoke later. Mike's gonna start us off.
Okay, so we're at 2:30, and I want to be conscious of your time and the things that we want to do. So welcome all to the Collection Management Tools section meeting. I am Jasmine Jones. I'm the outgoing chair, and this is Stephanie Bennett. She is the incoming chair, recently lost the vice chair-elect. So what I'm going to be doing today is giving you an update on what we've done this past year, talk about elections, and then I'll hand it over to Christine DeBella from Archive Space to give an update, and then Rachel Batts and Cliff Height to do an update on Archon. Then we have some activities towards the end of the session where we can all sort of meet and talk about collection management tools in groups and in small sort of team network things. So this year, what did we do this year? Just kidding, I know what we did this year. Basically, it's been a year of assessment of the kind of activities and programming that we do as a section. As you know, we moved from a roundtable to a section, and we want to be really conscious of the things that we're putting out there to the community to make sure that they are useful and beneficial for you guys to network with one another and to know what is happening in the field. So one of the things that we have done is we conducted a survey of all of you all. Thank you for those of you who participated. Essentially, we asked, what do you want us to do in the coming years? So we gathered a lot of data, and we have some really exciting programming to present to you in the next year. It'll be more robust, a lot more interaction with members, with one another, and with the section itself. We also enhanced the scope of the documentation portal. We sent out an email this spring about that change. And what we did was we expanded the kinds of materials that we would accept into that portal. So this sort of formats in which we would accept the documentation. So not only sending us PDFs, but we'll now connect to LibGuides and other kinds of media. We also broadened the scope of topics covered. So not only sort of local user guidelines for how to use archive space per se, but also tools and documentation for how you migrated, the kinds of things that you use to assess the different tools you decided to go to, and the like. So that's kind of the thing that we did this year. We're really looking forward to the programming that's upcoming, and I'm sure Stephanie and the rest of the steering committee will keep you abreast of those changes and things that they're doing. If you have any recommendations or concerns, please do address the steering committee, and we're happy to bring those aboard. Now I want to recognize the people who are outgoing from Collection Management Tools. So I want to give a big thank you to Martha O'Hara-Conway and Daniel Weddington. If either of them are here, please stand up. If not, we'll just give them a round of applause, and I'll pass that along to them. And now I want to recognize the people who are incoming to Collection Management Tools. So we have Katie Howell. She'll be the new vice chair-elect. Katie, do you want to stand up? I don't want to put you on the spot. We're really excited to have you. And then Jane Metters-LaBarbera and Lydia Tang, who are going to be the new steering committee members. You want to stand up? And we also have an intern this year, which is new for us. So Rachel Mahalko, she's here. Hi, Rachel. So thank you all for your coming aboard and volunteering to be a part of this group. If there are things that you want to volunteer and do with collection management tools, you don't have to be a steering committee member. I'm sure that there are opportunities for you to participate in other ways. So that is it for my updates. Julie Graham, are you here? Okay. When Julie's here, she's going to say a little something, but we'll come back to that. Christine, can you come up?
Thanks, Jasmine, and thanks for having me here, representing Archive Space. Some of you were at our Archive Space member forum yesterday, so a little bit of what I'm going to be saying will be a recap for you, but thanks for your patience on that score too. So I'm the program manager for Archive Space, and if you've been following Archive Space for a while, you know that our program team is pretty much all new this year. And all of our team is here in the room today. So I just want to mention some new faces and some new faces or some familiar faces in different roles. So Lainey McGlowan is our technical lead for Archive Space. Lainey, would you stand up? Just so a lot of you have already met her, but this is the person that you can talk to if you're interested in coding for Archive Space, or you're interested in understanding sort of the technical direction and the technical framework of how Archive Space works. Christine Kim is our new community engagement coordinator. Christine, if you could stand up. And there's a lot of, we preemptively decided to not have confusion over which Christine is which. So I go by Christine, and Christine Kim goes by Kim. So that's how I keep us straight. Kim is going to be working on all kinds of really fun, cool community engagement programs, engaging both our member community and the larger Archive Space community. So we're looking for all kinds of new things this year. And Lori Arp is the Director of Collection Services and Community Supported Software at Lyrasis. Lori's right here. And Lyrasis is the organizational home for Archive Space. And what an organizational home does is it provides services and infrastructure that any kind of organization needs, regardless of its size. Things like human resources and fiscal management, IT infrastructure. Lyrasis provides all these things for the Archive Space program so that the Archive Space, very small program team, can focus on the things that are really specific to the application and specific to the Archive Space community. And so Lori heads up the part of Archive Space, part of Lyrasis to which Archive Space reports. And because there's sometimes confusion, I just wanted to mention Lyrasis is also a membership organization like Archive Space. They are two different memberships, but Lyrasis members benefit from Archive Space being part of Lyrasis. Archive Space benefits from being part of Lyrasis because our different members, some of whom overlap, get to benefit from the things that are going on in each of those communities. It's been a year of transition for us, but I think we've made a lot of progress over the last year. The thing that's probably noticeable to a lot of people would be the progress that we've made in the application. We've made a really big push in development in the last 9 months. Some of the highlights are our new public user interface just came out. We know this was a very highly anticipated development, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. Our last release also included a beginner OAI PMH responder to make it easier for you to get your data out of Archive Space and share it with other systems that you use. Our new release also has enhanced rights management to make it more compliant with premise. We also, over the last year, have been remediating some of the issues with reports, and there's a lot more work to be done on this, more to come this year. And the last thing is not quite as exciting as seeing new features in the application, new ways to do things, but very important nonetheless, is we've been working on updating a lot of the underlying technologies in the application and paying down some technical debt. Essentially things that, decisions that were made on a short-term basis to just make something happen, but can sometimes have longer-term consequences, not the way that you want to kind of proceed with that. You can think of that sort of as things you might do with your house or with your car. You might, just as a stopgap measure, do something to get it back on the road or get the heat back on, but in the long term, we need to address the underlying issue. So we've been doing a lot of that with archive space this year. All of these things have been done in conjunction with Hudson Malonglo, who have been our development partner over the last year and have helped us really make this development push. So briefly, I just wanted to show you what our new public user interface looks like. If you've used or have looked at before our previous public user interface, you'll note that it visually looks different, that it behaves differently, that it has a lot more features and functionality than the previous interface has. You can always download archive space for free and try it out for yourself. But also, if you don't want to download anything, you can always go to our sandbox, which is on the current release and has been updated to include the new public user interface as well. You can give it a test run at that URL there. Some highlights of what's in the new public user interface. It has a cleaner landing page and an overall visual layout that is cleaner. We now have repository landing pages that indicate information about the repository as well as all the different kinds of records that are in it. There's improved display of the records themselves. DAC's single level minimum elements are made prominent on collection pages. So sort of the things that you sort of want to have as like a snapshot of the information about the collection, that's most prominent on the page and consistently in a particular order on every page. There are different sections to get an overview of what the collection is, to see the very detailed, or maybe not so detailed depending on what it is, whatever level of description you're doing, but to see the full organization, box and folder list, as well as a third option, which is to look at something in sort of container order. So if you want to see how something is physically arranged, not necessarily how it's intellectually arranged, or if you just want to be able to peek into, say, box 4, see what the contents are of box 4, the new public interface allows for that as well. There's more context. A lot of the complaints that we heard about the previous user interface was that you would search for something and you just kind of plopped into something and you had no idea what it belonged to. Our new public interface, your search results have much more context there. You can see how things fit in a hierarchy much better than you could before. There's also configurable options for things like standard citation, requesting via email, printing out a PDF, as well as an easy way to get back and forth between a record if you're logged in as a staff user to get back and forth between what it is in the public interface and what it is in the staff interface. And also better incorporation of digital object images. Like any software, this is a work in progress. So we have made a lot of progress on this. It does, as I said, look substantially different. It does behave substantially different. But this is, we would say, by no means the end point. So certainly as people start to use it and get more familiar with it, we want to hear your feedback of what you like, what you maybe wish was still a little bit different, all those kinds of things. And I should mention that the public user interface, it was a tremendous team effort far beyond the Archive Space program team. And it was led up by Mark Custer of Yale University, who really for basically 2 years provided really tireless leadership of the direction that this should go, wrangling all the different member contributions, working closely with the developers, testing it almost up till the very last minute before it came out. So we give a special thanks to Mark and to Susan Pazinski of Harvard and Corey Neimer of BYU and Scott Schwartz of the University of Illinois, who put so much time and effort into this, even in the very final stages. Over the last year, there have also been additional integrations with Archive Space. We certainly think Archive Space is strongest as part of an ecosystem of the different tools and standards and systems that people use to do all the different things that they need to do with their collection materials. We know that Archive Space fits one piece of that puzzle, but it's not the full puzzle. So in the past year, an integration with Archivematica has been released by Artifactual. That was in close collaboration with staff at the Bentley Historical Library. There's Lyrasis, the organizational home for Archive Space, has been working on an integration with Islandora, the digital repository. that they've been rolling out to hosting clients to make it easier to present your digital materials in addition to describing the rich description that you can do in ArchiveSpace itself. And I've been told that Atlas Systems is like days away from releasing an integration between Aon and our new public user interface. I mentioned that there's requesting functionality built into our new public user interface. Atlas Systems is releasing a plugin so that if you use Aon, you can essentially use that request button to perform a request in Aon. So that'll be a nice seamless integration there. Our Technical Advisory Council, there's an integration sub-team. They've done a tremendous amount of work and put together great resources about how to integrate with ArchiveSpace, why you would want to integrate with ArchiveSpace, and some of the integrations that have been done. And they're going to be speaking in a session here at SAA. So if you're really interested in that, I would definitely encourage you to attend that. For the upcoming year, of course, as I said, work in progress. There's always more to be done. So we have big plans for the coming year. Some of the themes and areas that we're going to be particularly looking at are making ArchiveSpace easier to install and maintain. It's great that ArchiveSpace does so many things for so many different parts of your workflows, but we know also that it's a pretty complex application at this point. And so we want to not lose the functionality that we have, but we want to make sure that it's easier for people to use, and for people who don't need all of it, that it's easier for them to get to the things that they need to use. We're also, we have a specification that's in the final stages of circulating right now for revamping our agents module to make it more compliant with EAC CPF as well as mark authority records. Also to have some synchronization with external authority databases like LCNAF and SNAC. So that's another thing that we'll be working on this year. I said it before, but I'll mention it again because it's so important. Getting the reports working, getting them working in the way that people expect and want is a big focus of our efforts this year. It's so important to us that we put Lainey, our technical lead, on the case of working with our reports team to get the development actually into the application. We're also going to be working on upgrading the migration tools from Archivist Toolkit and Archon. So ArchiveSpace has been around for 4 years now, but we know that a number of people are still in Archivist Toolkit and Archon. So we want to bring those migration tools up to a little bit closer to the current version of what ArchiveSpace is now. And then just the way that we looked at and really examined what was going on with our public user interface, got a lot of feedback about what people wanted, came up with recommendations. We're going to be going through a similar process this year for our staff interface. Again, ArchiveSpace is 4 years old now. People have been working in it for a long time. There are a lot of ways that we think that we know that people want the staff interface to improve. So that's going to be a big focus of a member working group this year. We're hoping, so the public interface effort took about 2 years. We're hoping that the staff interface will take less time than that. But regardless, the first step is at least getting a set of recommendations, getting a wide swath of feedback and views on what should be in there, and coming up with a plan for what should be there. We've been especially encouraged in the last year that we've had members of our community respond to our call for additional development support and additional contributions on the development side of the application. One of our themes is moving farther faster, and moving farther faster is only possible if we have lots of people in our community that are contributing in lots of different ways. And one of the ways that people have stepped up that is a little bit more than people had in the past is in making contributions to the development itself. So we've been working with people to, when the community has identified things that they especially want, finding others in the community that also really want that, but have resources that they may be able to put towards the development itself or towards subsidizing the development. So in this case, an assessment module based on a community-developed specification based on the functionality that was in Archivist Toolkit. That is going to go into ArchiveSpace this year, and that development is all subsidized by Tufts University. So thank you to Dan Santamaria and Adrian Pruitt at Tufts for leading that effort. Then another thing that has been circulated in the community and is of great interest to our community is EAD3 support. And this is another case where some of our member institutions are working to help build a first level of EAD3 support. The first step in this is going to be an exporter to get out valid EAD3. You'll still be able to get valid EAD 2002 out of ArchiveSpace, but in addition, you'll have the option of getting valid EAD3 out of ArchiveSpace. And we just got some messages yesterday that it's actually already ready for testing, so it's pretty amazing. Noah Huffman at Duke University is working sort of on the functional side of that, and Trevor Thornton at North Carolina State University is working on the actual development part of that. So look for more information about that incredibly soon, because we're going to be releasing it for testing soon. And we also, one of the things that Lainey's been working on is assembling a core committers group. This is a group of really dedicated developers from our community that are interested in not just contributing code themselves, but helping others sort of understand the process, setting expectations for that, encouraging people to learn and grow in how they can code and contribute that to ArchiveSpace. So that's a big focus of our efforts this year. We also will continue to look for other types of integrations with ArchiveSpace, partner with people out in the community that are working on integrations. We're part of a project called OSS Artflow, which is looking at how to integrate workflows that use Archivematica, BitCurator, and ArchiveSpace for digital materials. That's based at University of North Carolina, and Educopia is spearheading that. We're also continuing our work with SNAC, with the Social Networks in Context project. I mentioned that part of our agents module revamp is also going to have some synchronization capabilities with SNAC. And then Lyrasis is leading an IMLS grant with the title of It Takes a Village, and this is looking at different open source software projects, about 25 I believe, bringing us all together to talk about different things related to sustainability and how we can partner together, knowing that there is a lot of overlap in some of our tools and certainly in our user communities. So seeing how we can work better together. We also, ArchiveSpace is not just an application, it's also a community. We also have plans for the community this year. And so you're going to see more opportunities and more information about ways to learn and share about using ArchiveSpace and fitting it into your archival workflows. We're launching a new blog and webinar series in the coming year. You're going to see additional face-to-face and online events. There'll be additional opportunities for peer-to-peer mentoring and networking, as well as additional training options for people who are just getting started or people who are fairly advanced and now want to sort of take the next step in their ArchiveSpace training. And I'll give another plug for if you code or you would like to learn how to code, our new core committers group and Lainey are going to be leading activities that are going to make it easier for you to get involved. We really want to encourage that in addition to all the other ways we really appreciate our community's participation. The last thing I'll just say is ArchiveSpace is free to download and use, but we do have a membership model, as you know. The membership model sustains ArchiveSpace, but what it does is those who choose to become members, what they provide makes it possible to keep ArchiveSpace around and improves ArchiveSpace for everyone. So all are welcome to contribute, and please do reach out to us here. We'll be here in the exhibit hall this week. We'll be in additional sessions. We'll be at lots of conference events. So feel free to come up to any of us on the team to talk about ideas that you have, or email us, and we'll be happy to help, whether you're from a member institution or not. thank you. And then, so here's some contact information for all of us on the team, as well as additional ways you can find out about ArchiveSpace. Thank you.
Are there any questions for Christine? Okay, if not, you can talk to her afterwards.
Thank you.
Or any of the other members. Okay, I'll have Rachel and Cliff come.
So Cliff and I are here today to talk a bit about the Archon Update Project. This project grew out of a group of 7 institutions that undertook a code update to create stability for the product a little over a year ago. This group contracted with LibraryHost to do the coding and also had some additional work done by AV Preserve. Their basics were that they updated the core code to be compatible with PHP 5.6. It also included a web application firewall, mod security, and a partial phrase search capability so that you can search across the identifiers and the record groups. That is available to download from GitHub and has been released. It was tested both by LibraryHost and also some of our partners. The folks that were part of that initial group, Berea College, which I represent, Carleton College, Denison University, Luther College, Oberlin, Southern Illinois University, Carbondale, and Wheaton College. After that update happened, part of the feedback that we received from that group was people were interested. We discovered that there still is a pretty vibrant Archon user community out there. Folks were still interested in talking about the product. So at that point, Sasha Griffin kind of spearheaded pulling together a group of us to come to Denison for a day to talk about what might be next. And now Cliff will tell you what that is.
All right. Thanks, Rachel. So on May 22nd, there were about 15 or 20 of us that got together. I embarrassingly did not keep track of numbers. I don't know if that really matters, but so we got together at Denison University. That's in Granville, Ohio, in case any of you don't know where that is. And so we talked about all the things that Rachel just mentioned, and then we also added, what are the future plans? Are we going to do anything else with Archon moving forward? And I'm going to shout out again to Sasha because she did such a great job of pulling the activity together, being a great host, and guiding the conversation that day. Even though she isn't here, I still wanted to say thanks to her. So at the meeting, as we talked about the code update, we also mentioned that it should keep it stable, at least for the next little bit, for the near future. How's that for a broad statement? And in case some of you are interested in another perspective on how that project went forward, there was a group of participants who gave a presentation at the LibTech 2017 conference that was called Should I Stay or Should I Go? If some of you are thinking of the Clash song now, I think that must have been the inspiration for that session. And those slides are available online. You can just Google it and find it pretty easily. So on Archon Day, we also talked about what might happen next for it. And that included possibly doing a user survey, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. Other things that we discussed were fleshing out a communications plan so that we would know how to share those updates with the broader community. And then we also came up with the name of the group, the Archon Users Collaborative, because you always have to have names for groups like this. And then finally, some of the attendees planned to do some research on governance models for consideration as we decide the future of the group. And as I mentioned just a minute ago, the survey, we brainstormed questions about figuring out what repositories are still using Archon, as well as how they're using it and what level of support they may want to contribute in the to the maintenance of the tool. And that survey should be coming out shortly, in the next month or so. I'll say that broadly. For some reason, we like to have jobs to do as well, so we're able to get everything done as quickly as some would like. But if you want to know more about the group, you're welcome to contact Sasha. Her contact info is available on this website, and she's kind of the lead of these cats that she continues to herd. But I think at this point, since Rachel and I are here, we would welcome any questions that you may have at this point.
So this is like a thing now. It's not, you're not. It's not just going to be the single update, probably.
Yeah, I think what came out of it was a sense that there are more people who are interested in staying with ARCON for now. I think both, I won't speak for Cliff, we were just chatting about it before. We have an expectation at some point we'll migrate to a different tool, but I think probably everybody in this room does, no matter what you're using. So yes, I would say it's a thing now. We have an acronym. Next thing you know, we'll have a logo. Maybe that is a logo.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Yes, Cindy.
How many institutions do you have that have responded that they are still using the tool roughly?
I was just looking at that page because I realized our URL was missing. That's part of why we want to do the survey, because I think we anecdotally have a sense of the size. Do you have any idea of how many you think are? Yeah. It's really hard to know. We think more than we expected. So I'm sorry.
I was just going to add that I think one thing that we realize is that it's really small shops that often are using it, and they often they don't have the resources necessarily to be involved at the levels that sometimes are expected of institutions, and so they may not even know that this group exists. They may be on their own, and so we're hoping to reach out to some of those organizations to get a better sense of who's using it.
Other questions?
Do you have anything to add?
I'm Caitlin Nelson. I'm Caitlin Nelson. I'm a founder at Library Hosts, and it was my shop that did the coding for this work. I was just going to say anecdotally, the kind of clients that we have who are running ARCON are kind of smaller shops. There are people who are running kind of legacy ARCON, and they've invested a lot and maybe have done their own coding, and they're not quite prepared to go to another tool. But we also have some new clients too who come on, and so it's kind of a mix of different kinds of people. And I think part of what the ARCON update project was mostly we were seeing all of these different kinds of users of ARCON who were really scared that it was going to break before they were prepared to do their migration. And so I think the first round of this ARCON update project was really, we called it sort of the ARCON stability project. It was like, let's get it so it doesn't break. And then let's have community users decide, can we do something else as a group? Where do we go from here?
I think we're realistic people. So.
Great. Thank you, guys.
Okay, so now we are going to. Oh, right, Julie's here.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Julie Graham. You can't hear me screaming at you? Hi, my name is Julie Graham. I am the chairperson of the Committee on Ethics and Professional Conduct, and I'm here to encourage you, and others you may know, to think about submitting a case study on archival ethics. And if you want to know more about the case studies, if you want to read some of the case studies, if you want to know about the guidelines, If you visit the SAA website and go to the Committee on Ethics and Professional Conduct, you'll see there's a whole section there that will tell you about the case studies. It's not a new thing we've been doing, but we'd like to see if we could get more case studies. They're for us, for you, and a good teaching tool and a good way to find an ethical way to talk about things that we see every day in the day-to-day operations of the Archiville enterprise. If you have any questions about them or want to talk more about it, I welcome you to contact me, and you can find my contact information also on the SAA website. Thank you.
Thanks, Julie. So now we are going to have some breakout groups. We are trying something new this year. It's not something we have done in a while or ever, I think, since I've been a part of this group.
But talking to each other is fun.
Yeah.
And a lot of
So we're
people
going to
ask
make you
for it.
talk to each other. So what we're going to do first is a large breakout groups by collection management tools. If you are looking to migrate to a tool, feel free to join the tool to which you are migrating, or stay within the tool that you are in right now. So we're going to break it up into large groups by collection management tool, and then we're going to basically introduce one another to each other, and then talk about the tool that you're using. We have some questions that you can talk to or discuss, and then we'll break out into sort of like a speed networking activity, where we will connect with people within those groups to talk about your experiences, challenges that you have undertaken. But the goal of these sort of breakout groups and speed networking is to really connect to people who you haven't met with, who are also using the tool, who might be having issues with the tool, or might be having great fun and lots of opportunities with the tool. We just want you to meet one another and learn from one another. So that's sort of what we're going to do. So if we could break out right now, we can have Archivist Toolkit over here, Archon back there, Archive Space over there. Is there anybody else who's not using one of those three big tools?
Really?
You can hang out with me. Okay, so let's move forward with that, and we'll do that for about 15 minutes. Thank you.
I don't know.
Also, feel free to move the chairs around. We can put them back later.
Although they like had already sort of going on.
So for those of you that can't see the questions, they are, what's one word to describe this tool and your interactions with it, and why? Or you could talk about just sort of like 10 things that sort of make this tool up, or how you describe it. You can also start with just saying your name and who you are and where you're from. That might start a conversation.
And for the super large group, you guys could bring in a region, so you meet people in your neck of the woods. So this is something new to me. I would never years ago. I didn't want to steal your sunshine.
mind if I just alter the screen a little bit so it's not cutting off?
Yeah, that'd be great. Go for it.
Is this like okay time?
Yes, this is an okay time.
Just getting the 5-minute mark, just to start wrapping up conversation.